It's 4 o'clock. It's happy hour.
It's happy hour.
Happy hour.
Okay, well, I'm going to share my screen.
Awesome.
All right, so is everybody seeing the happy hour with Veem?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, well, welcome everybody to happy hour. We are super happy to have you, especially after tax season.
Yes, tax season. I've got to tell you, I was filing my return for my car. Isn't that like the best thing about cloud accounting? I actually filed my tax return in a car driving down to Florida. I was like, all right, I'm ready. Here we go.
Wow. Okay, I think you win. That's not, wow.
So at first, I thought you said for your car, and I was like, is that a thing that I'm not aware of, that you can file a return for a vehicle?
My car is a dependent. No.
She registered as a person.
I mean, it can be, depending on how old your car is. It could take up as much money as a child.
True, that's true. My husband has a 69 Camaro convertible car, and that was his first baby, for sure.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Same year as me.
That's funny.
If you have a Ford, does that mean you have to name it Harrison, and then you could file taxes and be like,
That's funny. All right, so as you can tell, we're having a great time, and we're super happy to have everybody here. I'm going to go ahead and say that we have some fun things planned, and I'm going to, there we go. So Heather and I are your hosts. I'm Liz Scott, and I am inside of Oklahoma. We've got an accounting firm named Accounting Lifeline, and we help small business owners with QuickBooks needs. And so setup support, training, like just so many of you that are out there that use QuickBooks for your clients, that's exactly what we do. And then we also do a lot of integrations, and that's how the happy hour was born. And Heather, do you want to introduce yourself and what's happening in the firm?
Sure. My name is Heather Satterlee, for those of you that I don't know. And I have a firm in Rhode Island. So I live in Portsmouth, Rhode Island, which is, I actually do live on an island. And it's actually nice out now. But my firm focuses, much like Liz's firm, on training, QuickBooks setup, and integration projects. So I do a lot of workflow analysis and streamlining and workflow automation services. So that's my bread and butter, and I absolutely love it.
Me too. And you know, it's so funny because getting together and having this time with our peers, to me, is really, really exciting. And I was trying to share that last night with my daughter. And I was telling her about scaling new heights and how fun it is, and that you're going to be around people who are going to be talking accounting with you, and they get it. And she was just like, You mean it's fun? And I'm like, yeah, oh my gosh, we're talking about the same issues. And she was trying to grasp it. But, you know, it's kind of like, you know, once you are one of us and have clients and issues, and you get to talk with other peers about their issues, you know, it's just team building. So that's what the happy hour is all about, team building. And I am thrilled that we have one of our team members here, so from our community. So Kelly, we are just super thrilled that you're our special guest today. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi guys, I am Kelly Gonsalves. My firm is Totally Booked, and we are based in New York City. It's just to touch on a little bit. Yeah, I grew up in New York City. I'm an advanced certified ProAdvisor. Totally Booked has been in business for about 3 years. And I'm always looking for new ways to implement new technology. And I have to say, touching on Scaling New Heights and Happy Hour, that I was super excited that I was at the inaugural Happy Hour last year. And then now we're coming up on a whole year. It's so exciting.
It is exciting.
Which is even more exciting.
Awesome. It's so awesome.
Yeah. So I think that covers it.
Totally thrilled. And we also have Veem with us today. So Melissa, there's Melissa right there. She's with us as our Veem expert. So she's going to give us some how-tos about Veem, and Kelly's going to talk about Veem and QuickBooks, and I'm really excited about the show. So One of the things that we're covering is international payments. So how to handle those with QuickBooks Online. Kelly's going to do some really nice how-tos. And then we're going to raise a toast to this amazing blue and orange drink.
Yep.
And I can't wait to share that with everybody. It's super cool.
I can't wait to drink it.
You can't wait to drink it?
I taste tested it. It tastes really good.
It is really good.
Oh, you tried it.
And it's not like anything I've ever had before. It's kind of got some spicy options.
Mm-hmm.
So handling international payments in QuickBooks Online, this is such a great topic because for me, I see more and more of my clients going international. And so this need to be able to transfer money back and forth didn't used to be a major concern. And so it was like, oh, I don't need to do that. But now it really is. It's kind of a common occurrence, and probably, 1 in every 7 clients or 1 in at least every 10 clients is needing to transfer money internationally. So this is a big topic. I love that we're exploring it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we are absolutely becoming a global economy, right? And so if your clients haven't traded internationally, they will be soon. So this is definitely something that is new to a lot of, accounting professionals. And I think they're going to get a lot out of this episode, this segment. So super excited to have you, Kelly and Melissa, on the Appy Hour with us. I'm so excited for this segment. So we'll hand things over to you, Kelly.
Yay! Okay. So my very first client is actually where I ran into, lucky me, my very first client was in need of international payments right out the gate. So what they did was, he was kind of like a broker for international artists. So we were sending out international payments weekly, and in batches of probably 20 at a time, sometimes small amounts, sometimes larger amounts. And at the time, we're using something called Amex FX payments, which is if you're an Amex customer, American Express customer, they'll let you use this service at no cost, but there is a cost on the other side for the exchange. The exchange is higher usually, and then also it takes a really long time for the money to go through. So probably about maybe 5 months in, I was like, there has to be a better way. There just it can't be the answer. So I took to the App Store. I went on apps.com and I just put in international payments, and immediately, Veem popped up, which was great. And I'm kind of like an all-in, so I just kind of went for it. I signed up, and like 5 minutes later, I got a call from Veem, and they were like, "Hey, we saw that you signed up, and we see that you're, a ProAdvisor, and we'd really like to see, how you're planning on using the product and what you got going on, and can we pick your brain?" And blah 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 blah. And I was like, "Okay, cool. Like, I'm 5 minutes into this, so let's see what we can do." But I can say that immediately the artist saw a difference on the other side, right? So they reached out, and rather than in frustration, like, "Oh my gosh, what's taking so long? Why hasn't it cleared my bank?" They were like, "Oh, I can see where the money is. I can see that you sent it. I can see, when it's going to come into my bank." And it's usually 2 to 3 days. So it was a lot faster, which was great. And then they were also really ecstatic about the lower exchange rate. So it was just, it was great. You can upload, like for them, what I was doing was uploading a copy of the bill so they knew what I was paying. They got notes, and they were, able to see everything on both sides. It was just beautiful, beautifully done.
So let's talk about that workflow real quick. So whenever you were using the Amex FX, that one you were entering in the bill, did you start inside of QuickBooks Online, or did you actually start in American Express?
At the time that I started using Veem, they hadn't yet had like a full, I don't think you guys had like a full integration yet where it was like enter the bill and then pay it on the other side. So now that's how it is. So what I do now is I enter the bill into QuickBooks. I'll attach a copy just for my record, and then as instantaneous, literally like refresh the page and it's in Veem. So in Veem, then I can just go in and choose to pay it or approve it or send it to whoever needs it. So just depending upon what the workflow is for that client, that's how I'll do it. But yeah, so I start with the bill in QuickBooks, and then that pushes over.
And so I love that it's integrated in both places now that you're using the Veem solution. But with Amex, did you have to do, was it 2 separate
Oh my gosh, it was horrible. So I would have to go through and, so you go through and click, pay bills, right? And then I would click off on however many for that artist. I'd have to scroll to see the total, go back to Amex, pay them in the total amount and convert it into whatever it was, euro or whatever they had, then come back into QuickBooks, make an adjustment so that it would match the exchange rate of whatever that was that actually went out of the bank.
And we hate that. That's one of those, those pieces.
To make sure that I cleared. It was torture.
Well, and that's kind of like the part that I was like, let's share that. Because that's one of those pain points that our clients don't often get that last step. And that's the critical step in order to be able to match to your bank statement. So that editing either a deposit or a bill payment to add in that exchange rate, that's kind of a tricky step that we can teach some clients, but not every client is going to be able to figure that out. So that means that they're very dependent upon us. Yeah,
it's difficult, but and even still, it seems like a little simple, like, okay, I'll just go in and adjust the bill. But if you don't do it, never fails, there's duplicates. The bank feed is then either the duplicate or it's completely ignored or something is missed. And that's the part that makes it really hard.
So I'm going to switch over to this next slide because that's exactly what we're talking about is those foreign exchange adjustments that have to be manually made.
Yes. So you have a couple of options when you're making payment from Veem. So you can start in QuickBooks, right? You can enter the bill and then push it over. Or you can start in Veem where you add a bill and then choose what currency it's going to be in and then copy that over into QuickBooks. So it inputs the US dollar amount if you have multi-currency turned on. And if you don't, then you can get the correct rate and then go back and correct it in QuickBooks. Because for some people, multi-currency is more of a headache than it's worth. So you may not want to turn it on just for the few international payments that you have to do, but it will give you the amount that's going to leave your bank that day. You're not trying to figure out what was the exchange rate, a week ago, and I'm going to look it up and I'm going to try and guess and see what might leave my bank. This is exact. It's going to happen. This is the exact amount. So it takes the guesswork out of it, which is beautiful. And like I said, you can kind of start in either place, but you're always going to get that right, number that's going to leave in US dollars, which is really nice.
So Kelly, I have a question. Is there like a particular threshold where you would recommend somebody turn on multi-currency in QuickBooks Online? I mean, you were saying that if you just have a couple of international payments, probably not worth the aggravation of, having to deal with that. What is the threshold where you would say, yeah, you probably want to look into that?
So I might turn it on sooner than, let's say, one of my clients might, but then also consider that my clients, once I turn it on, it's permanent, right? So we know that once it's on, you can't undo it. So it's kind of like a big step in saying, like, I'm going to do this, and now you're going to essentially live with this for the rest of your QuickBooks life. So it's a weighted decision, but if it's something where, so for that example, right, they were doing 20 payments a week. Mm-hmm. If I'm doing 1 or 2 a month, probably not worth it to me to put them in that position where they may or may not understand what's happening, and it may or may not be difficult for them later on. So I don't know if it's a threshold per se, like a number, but it's definitely maybe more of a frequency. If it's something where it's impairing and you have to constantly make adjustments, then it's probably worth it to turn it on.
And how do you find your clients? How easy is it for them to learn working with multi-currency? Do you find that there's a lot of errors? Is there a huge learning curve? Is this something that they really rely on you for?
That's a great question.
Yes. I would say that it's more relying on me because I haven't had too many try and take it back where they're so part of what we do is, we do like the hands-on. We're in their file, some of them daily, some weekly, monthly, whatever it is. But when it comes to multi-currency, those are a little bit more high-touch clients usually, and I'm involved with the whole process. So I haven't had anyone that's had to learn it from me just yet on their own. I mean, I'd probably write out something like how to do this. Like, I feel like I would have to hand them a manual afterwards. Like, try not to screw this up. This is how it goes.
So do you feel like that's becoming one of your specialties, is being able to handle those international payments?
So it's funny because only because Veem is involved will I say that yes, it has become kind of one of my things. Yeah.
Soak it up.
So, like, yeah. So like example, somebody was like, oh, I'm doing a presentation on international payments. And one of the things was like, can you write out all the aches and pains of international payments? So I turned to Melissa and Mike at Veem, and I was like, hey, I'm going to need to know like what everyone else suffers through in a little more detail. I've been really lucky that I haven't really had that issue, right? So I've been lucky in that I found Veem really early on, and now I can kind of seamlessly make these payments. But if I had gone through some of the things that they mentioned, like hopping through different banks and all the different fees that are involved, and then whether it may or may not make it there, and this bank may or may not hold it up, and they may or may not approve it, and the money may not show up for 2 weeks. It's like, that stuff is, I mean, actually sometimes I think it's like 4 to 6 weeks. So that is scary also, especially if it's large amounts.
Right.
But yeah, and small businesses, they can't have their money held up like that. I mean, that causes a real urgent problem for them.
Yeah,
payments get held up. I've had multi-currency clients in the past, and I want to say very rarely has it gone well when they were handling that. So it's nice to know that there's a solution out there that kind of handles it for them and speaks really well to QuickBooks, because
if I handed them multi-currency and I said only ever use Veem and it'll do it for you, then I would feel fine. I'd be like, okay, you're good. Not too worried about it.
Well, and it's like you said, there are some instances where you don't need to actually turn on multi-currency inside of QuickBooks because you can just use the Veem piece. And you know, I would imagine that would be especially true if you're talking about, you know, clients who are primarily US based, but maybe have a few things that they're either purchasing internationally or selling internationally, but the rest of their business is stateside.
Sure.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of those industries. Let me flip over here.
So we talked about the artists, obviously. So international artists, I kind of covered that one. Public relations. So my clients in public relations have models that are working internationally. So they'll have a model that's, let's say, based in France, and they're needing to, you know, pay out this contract that they've done here in the US or whatever it might be. And that will allow them to get the money a lot faster than they have in the past. And then the model and the company is not taking the hit on those wire fees because it's usually on both sides and the exchange rate. And so this has made that a lot more painless. Manufacturing, I think, is pretty straightforward. But, you know, if you're, I have a client that does house fixtures, I guess you'll call it, like your shower rod and your door handle and stuff like that, but like a high-end version. But she buys a lot of her parts to make those things overseas. So she's needing to pay for the pieces, the parts, and whatever it is to build her luxury things over here. So she will use Veem to then send that money over, which is great. And then
that's the technical term. Luxury things.
Those luxury things. I'm like shower rods and hangers and those things.
Some luxury things. You know, your doodads.
Yeah.
You like your nice doodads.
E-commerce, I mean, depending upon what they are selling online, sometimes it's where it's stored somewhere else, so they're drop shipping, or you know, they're purchasing it from another country, let's say, and then bringing it in to sell it here. And contractors. So a lot of times I'll see on Facebook, a lot of people will say like, oh, Veem is only for business to business. I am a business, I'm a contractor. I started out as a sole proprietor. I had my EIN number. I am a contractor. I can be paid using Veem. So a lot of the times people don't realize it, but you can send payments to your contractors, your bookkeeper, let's say your accountant, trying to think of other things, your actual contractor, maybe general construction, whatever it might be that they're, you know, working on for you. But you can use it in that way. And I pay all of my contractors using Veem, even in the US, because it's so convenient. So it allows me to put the bill in, mark it as paid, track the payment, but they also get it, like, I'm not supposed to say this, but like they get it like next day. So I know the standard is 2 to 3 days, but I'm like, once they're already in your network, you're lucky enough that they're like next day. So it also keeps my contractors really happy. They can give me a bill and they'll get paid right away. So I use it for all things.
Well, you know, and I like that you're sharing that. So it's not, we think of Veem as being international payments, but really they're doing the handling of transferring money back and forth. So it really doesn't matter what type of payment and to who those payments are to.
Right. And I think, Melissa, you'll touch on that a little further, like who can and can't
Yes.
maybe. Yeah, but
I would
ultimately,
like to,
go ahead.
sorry, I was actually going to say one big thing is when you're talking about public relations and the model specifically, a big thing to note on is a lot of people don't realize contractors are a business. That is a huge one. So we're going to touch on that later on. But yeah, Kelly's been using us for a while in the perfect way. So man, if you have an ideal person to work with, she's not only lovely and nice, but she's so smart. So like you go through things fast. Everything's to Kelly. I just couldn't be happier to work with you.
Aw, thank you.
Well, you know, what I'm hearing from that is that you really value those ProAdvisors, and we love to hear that.
Yeah.
Again, we'll touch on that later.
Yeah, I do. I get the little warm fuzzies when I see developers and accountants creating these partnerships together and just really thriving. It's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I have to agree.
Me too. And you know, you touched on this a little bit with the turnaround time, but that's a big issue, especially whenever you're talking about these international payments. Really, for any payments, you were kind of sharing this fast, but those international payments, that can be a reason that companies can't survive if they don't have cash flow.
Yeah, absolutely. If you send a payment and let's say you miss a number, right? And so this person, I've had it where a contractor sent me a wrong account number. Oh, I didn't realize. Oh, that's my old one. Oh, that's my whatever it is, right? But when they're in another country, there's this whole holding process before you get your money back. So you're upset. Your money is somewhere you're not really sure where it's going to be. The contractor is upset because they didn't get paid on time, even though it may be their fault because they give you the wrong number. They don't always necessarily own up to that. So now you have this situation where everyone's upset. What I really do like is that you can set them up ahead of time. So you can add someone to your network, like connect with them on Veem, so to speak, invite them to your network, have them put in their information. So it's putting that kind of the responsibility on them to put in the right accounting, the account number, the routing number, IBAN, SWIFT, whatever those things may be, put it all in there. And then when the bill does come up, you can say, oh yeah, this bill is this contractor, and then you can just pay it out and not have to worry about it. So it makes it a lot easier, and it makes it somewhat error-proof, foolproof, less error situation.
We're like your payments editor.
Yes.
You guys are the writer, and then we're your payments editor.
That's great. Well,
so it helps.
I was on mute. I had a question.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of unrelated, but I mean, it's totally related, but it's unrelated to sending the payments. So when we pay people overseas from the U.S., we have to file a 1042, right? Which is like a 1099, but for foreign payments. So is there any kind of, how do you handle that when you're sending, when you prepare those forms? Is there a particular tool that you use to prepare the 1042s?
No. So I think I always mix them up. It's either Track 1099 or Tax 1099 that I do all that stuff in. And I can honestly, like, no offense, shout out to either one of them. I have to literally go to the website and see the page before I'm like, oh, that's the right one, because they're so similar. But yeah, that's where, I mean, for me, everything ties back into QuickBooks. So it's always going to be something that relates to QuickBooks, ties in, pulls from, dumps into, whatever it is, that's my common connector. So I'm tracking all of them by entering them into either Veem or QuickBooks, tracking them on that contractor, and then pulling it out into Track or Tax 1099, which I can't remember which one it is at the moment.
Got it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Keep track of everything for you, which is great.
Right.
And I like your personalized link here.
Yeah, so everyone gets one of these. So this is so that people can pay you, though. So it's a little different. This is not where you're paying someone out, but you can send them a link to pay you.
Right.
So I mean, and I guess the go-to for international stuff is usually like PayPal. Like, oh, send me a PayPal, whatever, a connection, whatever it is. So I obviously much prefer this. It's branded, and it says, right in there, you can pay me in whichever currency it is that you're looking to pay in. So if they're in another country, per se, they would be able to choose whatever they need to make this payment happen. But it's also nice that you can add this link on your QuickBooks invoices. So if you're sending out invoices, you can add this to the email, and just, or even the memo on the invoice itself and say like, click here to make a payment. So it's nice because it comes up with this little branded page, and then obviously I matched the color to my logo and made it all pretty and stuff. And then, yeah, it just makes anything that makes something easier, I'm all for it.
Oh yeah, we agree with that.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too, because it feels like you could even put this on your website. So I hear what you're saying is that you can put it inside of your invoice, but if you had a training that you wanted somebody to pay for, you could have your participants go through and send payments.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just through this link.
They would just have to know the amount. Yeah, if you tell them, send me X amount, or here you can, pay it on this link, or I'm going to send it to you. Yeah, I mean, so what's also nice is Veem is also mobile friendly, so you can, like I sent a payment this morning from my phone. I put in a bill and everything and just did it from my phone. So you also have that option as well. So if you're kind of like, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say these things because like trademarks and stuff, but I call it like the Venmo of business. like Veem is like the Venmo of business. So it's instant. It's going to start the process for you and all these options. And like, this is another one, like where you would find somebody in network, you can go to their page. This is how you would do it.
I like it. I like it.
But I'm going to say it anyway.
Well, what I absolutely love about having, ProAdvisors on Appy Hour is you're showing us the thing that you're doing inside of your practice that works. And so, we learn best from our peers. And so I love that you're sharing what you do. I like that you're sharing that you can do it from a text.
Geeta's asking, does it work with QuickBooks Desktop? Does Veem work with QuickBooks Desktop?
So I did ask that one earlier.
Oh,
Unfortunately, no, it's okay. Straight up, we do not fully integrate with desktop, but we did design our export feature with QuickBooks Desktop in mind. So if you use the export function, it'll import perfectly into QuickBooks Desktop.
Perfect.
Ooh.
Awesome.
The accountant dashboard. So when you're a ProAdvisor and you have an accountant account, I guess you will say, and your clients invite you to use their Veem account, you'll have a dashboard lineup of all of your clients just right there when you sign in. So like mine is at the top, it says totally booked. My clients are all lined up. And then you can actually click on, there's a little drop down for each one and you can see what's currently happening. So if you have payments in motion, or if you have completed payments or payments that you've just started, whatever it is, there's like a little status bar. So you don't always have to click into the company to track it or trace it. You can do it there. The invite new client button is cool. So for Veem, and again, Melissa's going to touch on this a little more, but with Veem, when you sign up a new client, they have a referral program thing where you get points and money back. So when you invite them from inside of your accountant dashboard, that's going to start to track those points for you so that you can get some of your, I guess, money back. It's not even like you're paying much to do the payment. So I guess they're just giving you rewards for using Veem. And then the last one is to track everything from inside QuickBooks. So when you make that payment on a bill, it marks the bill as paid. And then in the memo field, in the bottom left little memo field, it'll say like Veem payment number, there's a reference number, the date and the time the payment was made. And then it'll start to update each status. So like processing, payment sent, payment received, right? So you'll be able to see everything and know that it was completed. So if your client, is the one that needs to see if the payment went through, they can actually just go into QuickBooks and pull up the status right there on the bill. They won't even have to sign into Veem if they don't want to. It's all right there.
I love that you can get that information that quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's awesome. And it keeps updating until everything is completed.
That's my thing with, watching deposits inside of QuickBooks Online with using their merchant services. I keep on looking, I'm like,
tracker.
I host just like that.
Exactly like that. In Veem, it's more visual, and then on the invoice, it's more just updates. But yes, you can watch it. It's pretty cool.
I want to know. I mean, we're in the information era, so give it to me. Give it to me. Oh my gosh. Well, I have to say, Kelly, you're just absolutely infectious with your enthusiasm. I love it. Yeah. Okay. And Melissa, I want to introduce you too. So Melissa, I am super glad that you're joining us. So do you want to tell us what you do at Veem?
Yes. So any of you who've been to events might have seen me and give away those socks. I am the channel and partner marketing lead at Veem. I primarily work with our accountants, bookkeeper community, as well as Intuit and some other people, but primarily Intuit. In 2017, Veem was part of the App Showdown at QuickBooks Connect. It was a pleasure working there, and that's actually the first time I got to meet Liz and Heather, who are wonderful people, and again, infectious personalities. It's like the most bubbly thing I've been on in a while. You can't help but be happy.
Thanks.
So I was trying to answer the chat before we got to my part, and I'm sorry for any of those questions I missed. I hope I got most of you. I've put partners@veem.com in the section a few times, but if you email there, myself or one of our other accountant or bookkeeper specialists will get back to you. So I'm going to concentrate on talking now, which for me, multitasking. I can't do both the questions and talking, guys. I'm so sorry. So to jump into it, I work with Veem. We do global business payments for small businesses, accountants, and bookkeepers. For a lot of people like Kelly as well. It's just amazing to have those partnerships in place. And when I'm not at work, a little about my personal life. I like live music, I like hiking, and I like reading. Because I'm a little bit of a nerdling. It's great.
Reading. Ooh.
I like reading too.
Yeah. It's it's just nice to be able to check out for a minute.
It is. I find that I read more business books now than I do fiction, which is...
I go through cycles.
Yeah.
And right now I'm in a cycle of, I think I've done so much work that I'm like, I need a good fun book. And of course I'm watching Game of Thrones and there's no books to go with it right now. So I'm reading all of the conversation blogs that are talking about, Sunday's episodes.
Are you on a Game of Thrones Deadpool? Do you have a sheet going at all?
I don't. No, I don't.
Liz.
I just read what everybody else is saying and I go, I think so too. Or I'm like, you're missing something. But it's fun to hear those people with all of their, their theories about what's going to happen next.
I read all of the books years and years ago, and I just haven't gotten into the show. I mean, I've watched some of them, but I don't watch them.
Oh my gosh.
I really liked the books though. They were great.
I can't believe you read the books and don't watch the show.
No, I know.
Well, if nothing else, you need to go check out Jon Snow.
Wow, Liz.
I Jon Snow.
It's kind of a thing,
Yeah.
It's cool.
So I'm so excited about our drink.
Okay, all right, I'll do it. Here we go. Okay.
I did it right.
Okay, so are you sharing yours?
Mine is much darker. Mine does not look it's okay. You can hardly see it, but I swear it's orange and blue.
And here's...
You got a reflective glass. That's why.
No.
If anyone's ever seen the socks, I added that to the rim.
I love it.
Condensation.
Oh, it looks great.
Yeah, it's got 2 layers to it. So that's what we're showing off right now is we've got an orange layer and a blue layer. And so what we were sharing, I just made a mess on myself. What we were sharing earlier.
Liz is now wearing her drink.
A little bit.
It's also a fashion piece.
While making it, so I'm gonna smell like that for the rest of the day, which is great.
I want to try that.
Well, and paper's pretty absorbent, so I don't have any napkins, so I'm using my paper right now to just kind of soak up the mess that I made on my desk. So, in my family, we are big spicy fans. So anytime that you can add, some spice to stuff, we do. So mine has the chili liqueur in it. So Kelly, did you put the chili in yours?
No, sorry. I chickened out.
No, I like it. Like we make this habanero ghost pepper powder and we use it on everything.
Wow.
I'm learning things about Liz today. I did not know. I will not ever have a meal with Liz. That's terrifying.
I like
Iron gut.
Spicy.
I had some Fireball, and I almost put some of that in here because I didn't have the chili liqueur, but I didn't do it.
Oh man, Fireball's a whole different thing. That's a whole different thing. But I mean, Kelly, you picked this drink, and I love the blue and orange, so It's really pretty.
It is.
Full drink props to Kelly. Not only did she pick the drink, she is our wonderful namer of the drink too. And we had some fun with this one because it just looks so pretty. So thank you, Kelly.
Beautiful.
Yep. Well done. Well done. Okay, so I'm going to advance it, but I'm going to stop and ask a question. So Don Woods asked us a question. It says, can Veem be used with e-commerce? And so we were saying yes, that it can be whenever you're talking about purchasing and bill pay, but or invoicing even. So he's asking, can it be?
I'm trying to find his question. Was it?
So if he wants to expand on it really fast, we work with business to business. So that includes intra-company transfers, whether it's domestic or international, contractors, and then obviously the general B2B. For e-commerce, a lot of the vendor suppliers, if the payments are purchased between two businesses, we cannot do the consumer facing. So sometimes like on a Shopify, that part where the customer buys the item or service, actually, if it's a service, it might be a contractor, so yes. But for those customer to business payments, no, we cannot service those. That is a different type of licensing, and we specialize in the licensing of business to business. It's a bit more complicated, and we want to make sure we keep our ducks in order.
Great answer.
All about compliance.
All about that compliance.
So Melissa, I'm just going to advance when you tell me to advance, or Kelly, if you're driving some of these, just tell me to click the button and I will.
I don't know how the cheers works in this show. So we cheersing now, or are we wait to the end?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. We can do that for every slide if you'd like.
We can.
Oh man, you just got my favorite way of doing it.
Ooh.
Okay.
Always yes.
Yes. Okay. So next slide, please.
And it's good.
Oh my God, that's me. When I say next slide, that just AK means cheers for everyone on Facebook. And especially for Kelly, I want 2 drinks. Your speaking part's over.
My first attempt. I do actually have 2 drinks, guys. My first
The first attempt did not go well, so we have to help Kelly.
Very nice.
Did you just say that when you say next slide, that means we all have to take a drink?
That is the Melissa for.
Are we doing a drinking game?
Drink.
Oh, we are.
That's what just happened.
It's our first Appy Hour drinking game ever.
And if I call, okay, so there's the first rule. Second rule is if I do a throwback to Kelly, then we have to drink too. There you guys go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Watch out. This just got a dangerous Facebook Live.
You just put a twist in there.
I did. A Veem twist. How can we make this more fun? Okay, so what is Veem? As said it earlier, we're a global payments company trusted by over 100,000 small businesses around the world. But you guys can all read, so I won't go further than that. Basically, what we try and do is simplify the payment process. We also do domestic payments, but where we really shine is that international payment, whether you're invoicing or you're doing bill pay. So we use something called multi-rail technology. It's a way of using different payment mechanisms that aren't available to everybody in order to get your money there in the most time-efficient and cost-efficient mechanisms possible. We do that in 3 ways. Multi-rail technology for us is a proprietary software that uses banking partners in most countries. So we service over 98 countries. And in most of those countries, we have a primary banking partner that we use. In some countries that are high-risk corridors, we then use the wire system, but we take on the fees for you. So certain countries in the world do require legally that you have to use the SWIFT system. So that payment rail is still there. We just want you to have the benefit of the Veem system there. A third way we send payments is to Brazil, Philippines, and Mexico. We actually utilize the blockchain. And what that means is that for certain payments, we can use instant transfer Bitcoin, meaning we have an exchange account and you use the benefit of that without having to make an account yourself as a payment rail. Again, we only do those 3 countries because that is where legality that is allowed. And with those 3 payment mechanisms, you are given a better array of payment options. You're not forced to use Amex with the high fees or go to the bank every single time to do a wire transfer. It's that simplicity process. So we help the function there, the payment rails. We also believe in transparency. So for every payment you do, we believe that you shouldn't have to pay for a trace. So if anyone's ever lost a wire, traces suck. I say this because I have lost one. Not me personally, but when back in an old life, when I did payments to China, and they'd be like, well, it's gone. That's some money to find out where your payment went. And you were like, I trusted you. So instead of that heartache, every payment is fully tracked on both sides. That means the payer and the payee both get to see where that money is at all times. That shouldn't be something you pay extra for. That is your money. So again, Veem tries to make the process as simple as possible, as well as transparent as possible. Next slide.
Oop, drink.
Oh!
So you guys might have been seeing these two characters throughout the slides. This is Victor. Victor is lovely, although Victor right now has this horn stuck in an elevator. So what this means, implementation of feedback, is something Kelly spoke to earlier. Maybe we were a bit eager with our calling 5 minutes after she signs up. Love you. But on top of that, what we really do is
come from it.
See, that was a throwback, by the way. No, but also what it means is that we built a product with a lot of customer feedback. So we work really closely with our accountant and bookkeeping partners, and that's why actually the dashboard came to be. We've built our product around hearing what people's needs are and what the pain points are, because certain products try and guess. We like to have that feedback loop. No, this is how I work. Well, this is how we should build the product then, not the other way around. For those of you who read things like the Lean Startup, it's kind of that mechanism. So again, I always encourage you, if you are a current user of Veem or you're looking into it and there's a few things missing, partners@veem.com, we're always open and we always want to see what it is that makes payments best for you. It's that implementation of what actually worked for ProAdvisors that made us get to the 10 finalists in 2017 and continue working with QuickBooks. Again, I can't wait to see you all at QuickBooks Connect in San Jose or Toronto. If any of you are around the Get Connected events around Canada, can't wait to see you there too. So next slide, please. Ooh.
I gotta move my orange.
Heather is slacking on the drinking game.
Heather, my heart.
You are muted.
Dashboard.
Oh, that's why. Okay. So the dashboard.
I totally drank. I totally had a drink. It was a little late, delayed drinking response, but I did it.
That's okay, as long as it's delayed. So this is a lovely accountant dashboard that Kelly was talking about earlier. Again, as you can see, we try and set it up so that's easy as possible. Now, you can click into each one of these clients to get more of a full view. But what it is an easy way of going in and reviewing. So see how there's a little one there? That means something's with that account right there. If you only had a moment to just kind of glance at your dashboard, you can go and say, you know what, I have one client that has something. It also allows you to prioritize. Also, as you can see, that easy invite client button is there. Again, ease of use, trying to simplify the flow, go through. Don't make you go through multiple profiles to get to that one you're working on. So this was designed with you in mind. Again, if you're a current Veem user, always access to your customer manager, or just check out here. So when you're working in here, there's two-way sent for Veem. If you go to veem.com/accountants, that is how you get the accountant portal dash. That is for managing clients. If you would like to send payments yourself, then you make a regular old Veem account, and then you can send payments on behalf of your firm. But not a lot of people actually do payments for their firm. They either have another portal or they're not making the payments there. So this is an easy way to manage your clients in one area. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Oh, she's just the greatest, isn't she, guys?
We think so.
Oh yeah, I'm a fan. #1 fan. If I had the foam finger right now, it would say, I heart Kelly.
Well, okay, I have to say that I'm impressed that one of our developer apps is saying that they heart our accounting buddies. It just makes me smile. That is what we're all about. Is that
wonderful. Okay, next slide, please. That is really good. Happiness. Okay, so payment status. This is another one of those things mentioned earlier with tracking. So this is what you're going to see from QuickBooks. When you're in there, you're going to see these 4 types. So this is actually a real example. This is a payment that really went through. So as you can see, sent, waiting for receiver to accept. I'm hoping for everyone, they kind of agree, like, hey, that's pretty clear on what that means. So we're onboarding receiver. For your first payment with Veem, it will take longer than the answer I gave earlier, which is the 2 to 3 business days. That's because we onboard both parties. Part of that is KYC, AML. It's the Know Your Client and anti-money laundering laws. We do that in order to make sure that again, it's that second eyes on the payment, and it's a one-time setup. It makes sure that both accounts are correct, both on the payer and payee side, or receiver and sender, to make that whole process there. As well, we deal in a highly regulated space for all the countries we are. We don't want to ask you new information if you say pay a different state or pay a different country. So we onboard you the first time. Some people might realize if they go up to a very high, we don't have a payment ceiling on our system. So we do the onboarding as needed there. We are fully licensed in all of the US as well as the partner countries we're in. So there is that we want to make sure you have that, that safety with your money. So we take our compliance very seriously, but at the same time, we try to make it easy on you. So it's that one-time thing. And then from there on, your payments are pretty easy. So we tell you when we're debiting funds, and then we tell you when the payment's complete. And for Liz's thing, when she said earlier that she wanted instant notifications, we send you an email to both parties. Be like, yes, it's done. Because you should know when it's done. You shouldn't be going to your bank account being like, is it there yet? Is it there yet? Because that's not a pleasant experience. So to make sure that Liz isn't looking at the computer with one eye and a magnifying glass, which is kind of what she was doing earlier, we send those notifications when your payment's complete.
I love it.
Next slide.
Got it.
Integrations. So our primary integration actually is with QuickBooks. We do bill pay and invoicing. But for a few of you, you know what? We have other partnerships. We try and service other areas. One big thing we also do that's not on this I want to talk about is factoring. So for early invoicing, if you want to, we have a partner in the US, which allows us to help make payments sooner so that, you know, cash flow for your clients. So again, if you want to talk about that further, please email your customer service or your account manager. There we go. That's who you want to email. Or again, partners@veem.com. Next slide.
Got it. I didn't know that you offered that.
Oh yeah. No, we're trying to, again, we want to make sure that people have it all in one spot and be very open with it all. So our biggest goal though is to simplify international payments. Kelly on it with putting the email down for me. Oh, love that girl. But seriously, all Veem aims to do is simplify the international payment process. Since the 70s, SWIFT has not been updated, and just like bell bottoms, it needs to go away. I see Liz laughing, but that's one of the things. So in over 90 countries, I think we're at 98 and adding, just add their email. So you can either fully set up your partners, whoever's receiving or giving the payments profile for them and help them along, or just put their email in it and they do their profile themselves. As an accountant or bookkeeper user, you actually have privileges to help set up your client's account on your behalf, because most of you already have information like their bank account, what their information, their name, their primary there. I think all you need then is your tax ID and you're good to go. So you can actually help ease that onboarding, and we have onboard specialists throughout the entire process too. And one last thing is that, yes, we are not just an international, we are a domestic payment option, and we aren't just bill pay, we are also an invoicing option. So we try and make both as simple as possible. As Kelly showed you earlier, we allowed branding, because when you're asking for money from somebody, you don't want PayPal or Veem or anything else to ask. You want to ask. You are the person asking. So we give you that full, beautiful thing to make it more of your look. And so you have that trust. It's you and your vendor, or you and your client, you and your contractor, having that relationship, having that agreement of payment. So it should be for you. So receive payments while on, have this simplicity, and it should be an easy process. And if it's not at the end of the day, every single person who uses Veem, whether it's your client or it's you as the accountant and bookkeeper user, gets an account manager. So that is one thing Veem offers, is always someone to talk to. We also have a client service email. So if you want to live chat or call in and talk to somebody on support right away on a specific payment, you can do that. But every account gets a personalized manager. Next slide, please.
Can I touch on one more thing for the ease of use? Sorry.
No, go for it.
If you enter if you enter your vendor's information fully in QuickBooks, vendor name, company name, email address, phone number, in Veem, all you'll have to do is click invite to connect with them on the network. So if you're already in the habit of putting all of their information into QuickBooks, it's going to give you the option on the other side to just send them an email and connect with them, because it reads both ways.
That's a great point. Thanks, Kelly.
Sorry, go ahead.
Next, oh man, we're on the next slide. Okay, and the last thing, no, I think I already said it. You can drink again though. Anything for you. And the last thing I want to touch on is, I believe, oh, and a few more actually. Veem rewards. So as Kelly was mentioning earlier, we want to kind of gamify, that sharing economy of payments. You're doing them. It's something you're doing anyways. So why not rewards? So for those making payments, we have Veem rewards platform. So you can read more about it on our site, because they're kind of, as it goes, it's a rewards program. but it's not a third-party app. You actually get money back. So when you get to a certain threshold, you will get that Veem money back into your Veem or into your bank account. So it's not like a Veem account, it's not a tertiary one. We're not offering you like air miles, a mini fridge. It is actually getting paid back for using your payment system. So anyone who is using it, you can go check into your account and read more information. It's available currently for users in the USA, in Canada, where I am from, woot woot, and I believe a few other countries, which you can find on our website. Next slide, please.
Okie dokie.
If you guys have any questions too, I talk fast, please. Oh, and here's the actual Veem rewards. So there's what you're getting. So $20 if you get paid from a new business, $20 for sending a payment to any new business, and that $1 for every 2,000 in FX. So when you're doing those ones, you get the gamification of the payments back.
Cool.
Next slide, please. Okay, and the Veem accountant program. So as Kelly posted that link earlier, if you join at veem.com/accountants, you can have access to your own Veem accountant portal. We have no subscription fees. Oh, thanks, Kelly, again. So if you want to just try it out, look around, maybe even talk to somebody, I encourage you to please sign up. Our integration is completely free. And as well, the only thing you're paying for is actual use of it. So you can make it and never use it once in your life, and you'll never pay. So if you have any questions, email partners@veem.com. And Liz, you have a question?
I do. Okay, so the thing that you had said earlier, in order to be able to get the accountant dashboard, because we love our dashboards, which is so much easier to move around. So you had said there's a trick to make sure that you get your dashboard. And will you share
just
that
make
again?
just make sure you sign up at veem.com/accountants.
Okay.
Can I share my screen for one moment?
Yes. Let me stop sharing, and then you can share away.
Okay, guys. Can you see this?
Yes, we see you.
This is our other mascot. Her name is Velma. Velma is awesome. She's my favorite. And she is pointing to the lovely sign up here. That is where you will sign up to get your Veem accountant dashboard. Okay? Now, again, at any time, we also have the ability to make your own Veem account that allows you to send payments. But if you want your Veem dashboard, please sign up there.
Yeah, I like it.
I like her too. I'm kind of fond of Velma. I think she gets things done. You know, Victor's got a bit more of gets his head stuck in elevators and she has to go help him. Wouldn't you look like that too?
That's funny. Well, so Heather, do you want to go ahead and take it from here, since we're at that spot anyway, when we start talking about cool things with an app? And, you know, I'm super excited that we did it. We did the Veem demo this way, because with Kelly, you coming in and showing us how you're using Veem with your practice, and then being able to walk us through some of the pain points before Veem, because you said that you had tried a couple of other things, even though it sounds like you got connected with Veem fairly fast.
Yeah, actually, am I allowed to say the other apps I tried, or do I not do that?
We're fine with that.
I tried Pluto also, but it took a really long time. So I was kind of having the same effect as Amex payments with the vendors on the other side. So it was still taking like 5 days. And I mean, the customer service just wasn't there for me. So when I found Veem, I was elated. They were so great, and it was just so easy. So anything, like I said, anything that makes it easier for me, my client, and then obviously their vendors are happy, that's a win-win. And win. 3 wins.
3 wins, that's good.
Yeah. All right, I want to know what the coolest thing that happened this month was.
Yeah.
All right, so Heather, you are still on mute. There we go.
All right, I'm now not muted.
You are now not muted. That is a true statement.
I'm now not muted. So our coolest thing, or the coolest thing that I did this month was actually I actually set up an Airtable to manage our Appy hour. And so what I wanted to show you guys is Airtable is it's kind of like Excel or Google Sheets, but on steroids. It's a database program that allows you to create a relational database in the cloud, and it's very, very customizable. And the cool thing about it is it has all of these templates that you can pretty much borrow or, use and then modify based on whatever your needs are. So when you sign up at Airtable, and you can sign up for a free trial, and there are different subscription options, but when you first sign up, if you go to the templates, you can find all these really cool templates that you can just click on and start using. So, for example, event planning, if you needed to plan an event for, a not-for-profit, or maybe one of your clients is just getting started, they've got templates for that. You can see all of the different options over here on the right-hand side. And so if you click on, content production, we've got a blog editorial calendar, social media calendar, and the one that we used for the Appy Hour that I ended up modifying was the podcast editorial calendar. And so when you click on it, you just click on to use the template. You can kind of see what it looks like here. And then you just, once you add it to your base, then you can modify it, however you need. So I'm going to just show you a couple of the Airtables that I've opened and just show you how they work. They're pretty awesome. This one is a project tracker. So it's got a really nice area where you can set up the different projects. You can add different columns here, and add rows. You can also go ahead and change the view. So if you wanted to look at a project calendar, it would give you a calendar view. If you wanted to look at your due dates only, you also can look at each table. So these, what I had set up here was an implementation. So I put in the different steps for that implementation. You can, click on your clients, and just to add a new table is really easy. You just create an empty table, or you can import a spreadsheet. So one of the ones that I actually built from scratch was this app evaluation tool, which I wanted to create a searchable database for me to keep information about apps, so that I could store information, what I think of an app, the different features, the different resources that are available for the app. So what I did is I took a spreadsheet that had a list of all the apps from apps.com, and then I was able to just import the spreadsheet, and it created my first table. And so when the table first comes in, it looks just like this. And then I can go through and I can start to edit these different columns. But the cool thing about the columns is you have all of these different field types that you can create, so you can really drill down and create some pretty amazing things. So once I create a table, because right here I'm just looking at the apps table, I can actually create different views. So right here I'm looking at the grid view, and that's great. I can search through that. But maybe I want to look at the Kanban view, which is going to show me all of the different apps that, in different categories. Or I can view the gallery view. And if I wanted to view 1099 e-file by tax 1099, I can just click on it, and it pulls up all the information and the history about that app. So I think this is a really, really cool tool. It's relatively inexpensive, and because they have those templates available, you can really get started using it pretty quickly. So I had spent, it took me probably 3 hours to copy over that podcast editorial base and modify it for Appy Hour and have it up and running in about 3 hours. And Liz, you can attest to it. It's pretty darn awesome because it connects everything. We had things all over the place, and now all of the information related to our episodes is in one place, and it's completely customizable.
Well, yeah, and that's the part that I'm going to expand on. So the thing that's really cool about it is that searchable database. So being able to put all of the information into Airtable, so that way you can do what you're showing with the calendar view. You can go back and say, for us, it's, who's going to be on the Appy Hour next. It's being able to see that list and what resources do we have from them. So, that's one way that we're using it. But with clients, the thing that's really beneficial about something like this is to be able to say, sometimes our clients themselves have really complex systems, and they need to be able to store all of that data in one place. And this would be a place that they could go and store that data. It could be searched, it could be sorted, it could be filtered. And because it has relationships, then you can see it in different views.
You can, absolutely.
And that data.
You can even create forms. So with my app evaluation tool, I wanted to allow the apps to come in and fill out the information for me. So I can actually create a form and then send a link to the form to anyone, and they can fill this out and it adds a new record. So it's just really customizable, really easy to use. If you haven't taken a look at it, you definitely should do that. And then the other last thing about Airtable that I just want to tell you about is we also have the Airtable universe, which is where other Airtable users have shared databases that they have created. So one of my favorite ones is Zapier has a project management database that actually goes through, and it will help you find, it will actually go through and review and show you all of the different project management apps and what they're really good at. So if you were looking from with a Gantt chart or a task list or Kanban, you can go through and read about the different project management apps. So lots and lots of stuff to explore on the site. So I really felt like this was the coolest thing for me this month.
I like it. And, I see Trello's on there, and I love Trello too, but there's some functionality inside of Trello that you're not able to have relationships with your data, where that's what Airtable is doing, is it's taking that flat list of activities and it's turning it into something that you can do things with. Right. Yeah.
Heather, you use it for forms and questionnaires too, right?
Yeah, you can set up forms. I mean, we actually sent you, Kelly, the form for the for the guest, and so that collects. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So it works with Zapier. So if you're using other apps, you can actually zap information to all different places, which is really right up my alley. So that's
Zap alley.
That was my alley. That's the coolest thing that I did this month. So Airtable, it's just airtable.com. You can try a trial. I have not paid for Airtable yet, just saying. So if you want to give it a try, you can probably do a lot of things. I will be paying for it very shortly. But every time you refer somebody to Airtable, you get $10 towards your subscription fee. And I've referred a lot of people to Airtable. So that's worked out well for me. So, just a couple of closing things. Thank you, first of all, to Kelly and Melissa for joining us today. I've learned so much. I'm super excited. I actually signed up for Veem last month, so I'm super excited, to start using it. Kelly, thanks for sharing your expertise and knowledge with us today. This was absolutely amazing. So
I'm so excited. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was super. And the drink, oh my gosh, you knocked it out of the park with the drink. So
definitely.
So you can visit our website. We actually did a little bit of an update to our website last month, so definitely check that out. You can view our recorded episodes, connect with the sponsors, go to our bar book, find the recipes, read our blog. We have a great article that Veem just published on our website, so you can go read about that. Send us a message. And don't forget to visit Veem. Oh, I have a poll that I need to put up real quick, because actually you're going to need to do that, Liz. Can you launch the poll? If you would like Melissa to reach out to you to get more information about Veem, if you could just answer that poll, that would be great. Awesome. And make sure you join our Appy Hour Lounge Facebook group. And register for Zoom so you can join the fun, and that way you'll get reminders about our Appy Hour sessions. We're now doing more than one Appy Hour session each month because we've introduced these new open mic sessions, which are just super awesome.
Well, and I want to open that up too, that if we have any ProAdvisors that are on the call with us and they have an industry that they're using an app for and they'd like to share it with the community, that's what we're all about. So reach out to us and say, hey, there's this app and that you have some content that you'd like to share with the community. Because it's all about sharing. So I'm going to end the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Awesome. Thanks, Liz. Our upcoming episodes, our next 4 upcoming episodes, our next episode will be on May 14th, where we're going to be talking to auto entry and talking about rethinking bookkeeping automation. So we're going to explore some, we're going to be exploring some tools like Zapier and other automation tools that you can use in your practice. Then on the 27th, we're going to talk about streamlining our human resource processes with ADP. And then on the 11th, which will be right before Scaling New Heights, we're going to be talking about inventory with Locate. And then at the end of June, we'll be doing another QB Appy Hour open mic session with House Call Pro. So that's what's coming up. Another huge thank you to Melissa and to Kelly for joining us today. This has been amazing.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for joining us. It's always fun to see you. It's always fun to meet.
And to everybody on the call, thank you for joining us too. We really appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy schedules to join us for Appy Hour.